In my own company, I run an entire team, and guess what? My entire team knows my cycle. I know that women are extra creative and can shine when it's around ovulation, and that we need to rest and chill when it's around menstruation. As CEO of a company, I make sure that my team knows when I'm going to be not easy to access. I let them know when we're creating content. This is not something that most leaders think about, or at least not most men leaders.
Welcome to another episode of Inspiroqa podcast. Our guest is so special. She is best-selling author. She recently been published also on TEDx as a TEDx speaker, and she is relationship expert. She basically helps leaders to become better at work while telling them how to love themselves, how to have a better relationship. Because what I understand, when my relationships are good at home with my family, I'm also happy at my work. So, without further ado, let me welcome in this episode Eri Kardos,
Thank
the
you.
relationship expert. Thank you so much for having you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Carol.
How is your day going so far?
It's been beautiful. Today is actually my wedding anniversary, so it's a great day to be celebrating.
It's like everything, it's happening in April, right?
Everything's
you
in
recently
April.
Had a
Birthday, TEDx published, and now wedding anniversary, and my mom's birthday, and your birthday.
Yeah, my birthday. Yeah, happy birthday, Carlos. We met basically from now on 2 to 3 weeks ago, if I'm not wrong, in one event in Bali.
Yeah.
And I was so curious about Eri Kardos. So I Googled your name. I was like, oh my God, I want you to be part of our podcast. I want you to be my guest. And then as I was checking, I was like, oh, she's a relationship expert. She has so much experience with love. She helps men and women all over the world to love themselves. But it wasn't always like this, right? Before you were working for some corporate companies, you're coming from USA.
Yeah.
But what I'm so curious about, you used to work for Amazon, right?
Oh, yes.
What kind of position was that, and how many years you worked for this company, and what made you to change your life, babe?
Yeah. So I worked for Amazon in leadership development for many, many years. And for me, what I noticed was when I was working with my executives, as more time and trust went by and it got established, they started opening up to me about things that were more personal, not just matters of what was going on with their teams. And I asked consent. I said, hey, may I please coach you on more the whole person? Because I was already a certified coach, and my background is in sexual psychology. So I was bringing in all of my different skill sets then. And next thing you know, when we're talking about matters of the bedroom, they're bringing this into the boardroom because they're happier. They're more grounded. They're more focused. They had more drive. They weren't thinking about, oh my gosh, did my spouse text me after our fight last night? They're very focused. And then it had a ripple effect in the teams. So I watched entire ROIs of organizations change based on looking at the whole person and matters of the heart, not just what was happening at work.
Oh, wow, that's really beautiful. So basically, before you started Relearn Love, you already had those experiences from before, right? Because you were coaching them.
Yeah, so it didn't matter if they were single and lonely, wanting a partner, or if they were in partnerships that weren't going so well. There was a lot of loneliness. And I started coaching more and more people, and then they were referring me out. So by day, I was doing leadership development at Amazon. And then by night and on weekends, I was coaching executives at Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Boeing, SpaceX, Relativity. Everything was expanding. Just finding more and more people. Didn't matter what their background was or how successful they were in their careers. There were these skill sets we just didn't learn, and they keep us up at night. And so learning how to be a great communicator, learning how to connect more deeply, learning how to ask for what you want, or give a gentle truth, a compassionate truth of that's not what I want, without hurting the other person. These were skills that they applied everywhere in life. We just didn't learn them. And they make you a more powerful leader, and they make you a more powerful lover, they make you a more powerful parent. So it was having these ripple effects everywhere. And I was like, this is amazing. I want to do this all the time. So I decided I'm going to leave my job at Amazon. I traveled the world for about a year teaching all over. I taught in 6 continents. And then I released my best-selling book called Relationship Agreements. And so it's been quite the journey, and I've loved it ever since. And since then I've now started working with Hollywood actors and doctors and lawyers across the globe. I've just worked with incredible people, and I feel really blessed to do this work.
And when was that, when you decided, like, okay, Amazon, thank you so much for all the times. Right now, it's my time to work on myself.
That was about 5 years into my Amazon career. That was over a decade ago.
So 10 years roughly ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you must have a bunch of experiences for last 10 years, like coaching, Hollywood actors. Talking about these guys, I'm really curious. Can you name some of those actors? Because, I love watching movies.
The only one that I can name, because most of my clients really value privacy, right? And especially with what they do in the world. So the one actor that I can tell you about is an actor that I had a crush on when I was little, actually, which was really hilarious. If you've ever seen the movie, it's an American movie. It's called 10 Things I Hate About You. It was so popular when I was in high school.
I've seen this one. I think
it was really good.
In Netflix, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's on Netflix still. Anyways, there's an amazing actor named Andrew Keegan, and he was one of the big heartthrobs at the time. And Andrew and I have gotten to work together, and he has a testimonial on my website and everything. So and he's still an incredible actor doing great things in the world.
Wow.
So yeah, some really neat people.
It's really funny, like even Hollywood actors looking for like somebody to help them with this kind of problems, because when we see somebody who is already famous, we feel like, he has nothing to do, but we don't know what is going on in the background, right? And maybe he is like having a lot of traumas, because what I see, it's really easy to pretend in front of a camera when you're an actor. You can play any kind of role, but nobody's going to ask you, how is your personal life?
Yeah.
And how it affects your real life,
Yeah, and that goes for everybody. I mean, I teach regularly. I've taught thousands of people, and one of the questions I love to ask when I do a workshop is, how many healthy, happy, long-term couples do you personally know? And you can define that however you want. What is healthy? What is happy? What is long-term? And I give everybody a few seconds, and everybody gets a number in their head. And then I say, okay, if you know 10 or more, raise your hand. And maybe in a room of 40 people, I'll have 1 or 2 hands.
Yeah.
And then 5 or more, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I would say almost always, like 95% of the time, the majority of the room will be between 0 and 3. That's all we know. And yet we think everybody else is doing it well. But we don't have a lot of models, and we weren't taught these skills in our childhood when it was the most impactful time to be learning them.
Oh, yeah.
How to have communication skills, how to be with our emotions, how to express our desires, right? It's like these things weren't taught, but we all need them.
So what I understand, you were not afraid to quit a stable just because, what I'm trying to say, many people, they have their own visions, missions, let's say, purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
They want to become a coach or want to open their own company, but they still have their stable job, and they are afraid to quit it because of the finances. But what I see from you, you had the courage, yes, you did the same as I did. Like, while you're having a stable job, you are working on yourself, like on your mission. And then when was the time, you decided to quit and follow your passion. But many people are afraid, these days.
Yeah, it's not just these days. I think, I love this phrase of fear is excitement without the breath. And so it's like you feel this nudging. And I think many people have a hard time figuring out, what is my purpose? For me, once I figured it out, I knew that's what it was. And I'm like, my purpose is to be a mom and to help people relearn love. And that's really what I'm here for. So once I discovered that, I was like, I can't do that in this company. Like, I just can't. And so I needed to start my own company and do something different. But it was very scary. It was definitely leaving an amazing job. I was one of 3 people brought in to do a leadership program, right? And so and I was like very specialized. And then for me to say, thank you so much, and I'm going to go now, was really hard. But I knew in my soul I needed to do this.
Yeah.
So even though it's scary, it's like, how do you lean in and take that jump? And, I think my life has lots of weird examples of that. But even choosing to live in Bali, right? It's so not normal.
Definitely.
Right? It's like, that is an act of courage. I would love to hear your story at some point in time. Like, how did you decide to go to Bali? Like, people are like, whoa, that sounds so amazing. But I could never do that.
Yep.
And when I share my story with others around leaving my job, it's like, wow, that sounds amazing, but I could never do that. Like, you can. And it takes a lot of courage.
Takes a lot of courage. Some people can just leave the job from one day they just decide like, okay, tomorrow I quit and I will start doing something or just like sabbatical whatsoever. I've seen some of the stories.
Yeah.
Then after sabbatical, they're still doing sabbatical or just look for a stable job.
Yeah.
But it's some kind of refresh. But I like the idea. You created a company and the mission called Relearn Love.
Yeah.
This name, you knew it already from the beginning, or you've seen in the vision, or how did?
No, when I
happen?
first started, it was just erikardos.com, you know? So it was very much like, this is me. And a lot of coaches do that, right?
Yeah.
But with time, it was like, it became more and more clear. And, my background, so I got my MBA from the world's #1 international business school at the time. And I had all this knowledge, but not as an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurial skills are very different. And what I see in the world is there's so many passionate people who are really good artists, really good coaches, really good, but they don't have the business acumen. They don't know how to actually run a business. Like, even having studied business, I didn't know how to run my own business. And so there's a lot of other skills that might feel uncomfortable. And I do a lot of mentoring and coaching of people who are trying to figure out, how do I become a successful entrepreneur? It's okay. So, how do you learn the marketing skills and the sales skills? And how do you, there's so much that goes into it that you don't think about. And it feels kind of hard because it's like, well, I really just want to be coaching. But if you can't get to the people who need your help because you don't know how to get your message out there, then what good are your coaching skills? So it's really learning a lot of new skill sets and allowing yourself to grow and flourish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think not a single. I mean, like, I also studied some economic management from high school, also during the university studies, like what is accounting, what is like ROI, ROA, whatsoever, these kind of numbers. But then when I started my own business, I was like, okay, I don't have those information. I really have to talk to my lawyer, to accountant, just tell me what are my responsibilities,
Yeah.
Because it's different when you study something and then when you come to reality.
Yes. Very much. Very much.
So happy that you find out everything by yourself. So you started Relearn Love all by yourself.
I started my company by myself. And I have chosen to work with incredible business coaches and other coaches and therapists. And I love learning. I have been a personal development junkie since I can remember, right? So I think I started with my first coach when I was 16. And ever since then, I have worked consistently with a coach or a therapist. I don't believe that I can tell people, you should go work on yourself if I'm not working on myself. So even in my marriage, we've been married, today is 9 years, and very soon it'll be our 10th wedding because we get married every year. But even then, we still have a therapist, because even when you have all these skills, you can't see your own mess. You need to go out there and have somebody else who has the wisdom, who can see the little things that are going on that you just can't see, to help you grow. And that is so critical. So it'd be nice if I just said, oh yeah, I magically Googled and figured out how to do a business, right? But no, I've hired incredible coaches who have helped me learn so much along the way. And with one of those coaches, the idea of Relearn Love really became evident a couple of years ago. And I said, no, and I want my company to go beyond me.
Yeah.
Right. I want it to go beyond Eri Kardos. I want this to be something that's taught in schools. I want this to be, something that people can easily access and learn and grow from. So what's going to take that into the world after I'm gone? And for me, it was, okay, Relearn Love. This is it.
And the name Relearn Love, it says okay, this person talks about love, how to love myself. So can you please tell us what is included in your mission? Because when people say oh, she's just going to tell me what is love. But no, guys, this is much more deeper stuff. She has a bunch of experience even with Tantra, right?
And
you put
many
everything
things.
together. Depends on what the clients want. So if you can share us maybe some successful cases, or tell us what is including, what's
Let me give you a little background.
A little bit of
Okay. So I think most people don't understand that love is no longer a fluffy subject. It's not it's not qualitative. It's very quantitative at this point. We have decades of amazing research, and we know what works and what doesn't work in relationship. And most people don't know that. They think that it's a fluffy subject, that they should be good at it, and they should already just naturally know what to do. And yet here we are with very few great models. And on top of that, there's this social shame that, if you say, okay, Carl, I'm going to go out and I'm going to learn how to start a business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hire a business coach. You say, Eri, of course. You're going to learn how to do business quickly. You're going to learn great strategy. You're going to implement faster. You're going to learn from your coach's mistakes. Great. If I said, hey, Carol, I'm going to go learn how to play tennis. You say, and I hired a tennis coach. You say, of course you did. You're going to learn the proper swing. You're not going to screw up your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing at a higher level faster, and you're going to have more fun. Right? Yeah, amazing. And you won't have to go back and fix the mistake you've been doing to your shoulder for years, Oh, awesome. But if I say, Carol, I'm hiring a therapist or a relationship coach, most of the time people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Something must be really screwed up. Right? And it's like, whoa, we never had classes in this. Mm-hmm. We never learned this. Our parents, I would bet your parents weren't a perfect model of relationships. They may have done great. I don't know. A lot of people didn't even have close to great models. And so how are we supposed to be good at this? And yet we shame people for trying to learn.
Yeah.
It's really challenging. So how are you supposed to get good at intimacy and vulnerability and communication if it's shamed? So for me, it's really helping people understand that you already learned love. You learned a model before the age of 7 on what love is. And this being ingrained in your system doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just what your system thinks is what you're supposed to be going after, whether you want that or not. And then we create all these strategies as children to avoid pain and to earn love and to keep love. And then we take those strategies with us as we become adults. And most of the time, those strategies are made for when you're a kid, and then they backfire when you're an adult. So the desire to fight or to run away or to people please, all these things create, or to freeze, right? All these create the distance and pull you away from what's possible in love. Yeah. And all these, we pretend so much. We try to earn people's love all the time, and then we're not being our true selves. Right? It's this facade all the time. So how do we learn how to create both freedom and safety to be authentically ourselves, and my partner to be authentically himself, and still be loved? And that's where the magic comes in. So if you understand that you learned love already, whether that was the right model or not, the healthiest model, and that you can choose to actually relearn love now using science, using tools that we know work. If there's one organization that I love called the Gottman Institute, and they can tell with over 92% accuracy if a couple will stay together long term, just by listening to them speak to each other for a couple minutes.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. So it's not a fluffy subject. You just didn't learn the tools. So you can choose to learn the tools, right? You can choose to say, I want to connect more deeply. I can feel there's something better than this. Mm-hmm. How do I get there? And you can learn.
Wow. I've been through some coaching as well. I had some coaches, like one-on-one sessions when I was living in Czech Republic, when I started go more deep inside of the personal development, because I also wanted to know who is Carol, what's your mission, what's the purpose. And step by step, it was just like you have an onion, you just open it step by step, and then you see the core, and you realize, oh wow, let's keep going on it. But then suddenly you need to ask for some advices. These days, the best friend is ChatGPT, the AI. Yeah. He gives the feedback really fast, give you some ideas. Yeah. Compared if I want to talk to somebody. Yeah. If you don't have budget, it could be helpful. But you mentioned that you wrote the book called Relationship Agreements. Yes. And it became bestseller on Amazon and I don't know where.
Yeah, and it's on Audible, so you can listen to it.
Yeah, audiobook as well, right. I'm curious about this book, by the way.
You'll hear my husband's voice in it too. He recorded it with me.
He recorded this one? Yes. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. Wow. I might also want to talk to your husband later on.
Please, he's amazing.
I'll be happy. And I wanted to know more about this book. What is this book about? And what was your motivation to write it down?
Yeah.
Because I also wrote 2 books so far in my mother's language. Yeah. And I had some motivation to write it down,
Yeah. I'm like, I want to know more about your books and your motivation too. So for me, my father's a lawyer, and I did a lot of work at Amazon that was really helping people get clear on what are we doing, What are we doing and why? Like creating documents that bring clarity, right? And so I already had this model in me of how do we create more clarity in whatever our goal is.
Yeah.
And then I come to relationships and there's all these unspoken assumptions and expectations. And so much of the conflict that comes up in relationships is purely based on these things. And I'm like, this is wild. Why don't we just get clear on what we're doing? And so I decided to start playing with this. And my partner at the time, like we just started playing with this very seriously. And he's like, you want to write a legal contract? I'm like, no, I don't want a legal contract. I want a living document that's going to evolve as we evolve. And I want to get really clear on everything, like our finances, how we handle conflict, how we communicate, what is intimacy like, right? Like there's so many, what are our roles around the house? What is our bigger vision? There's so much here. And if we don't talk about it, it's just another landmine for an explosion, like just waiting, right? So instead, it's like, okay, well, let's talk about it and let's write it down. And it's not like you are stuck with this forever. We are going to keep this as our agreement until we decide to sit and talk about it again and change it together, right? It's really about giving agency and voice to both people.
Yeah.
And creating this safety, creating freedom within the safety that we just made, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's like you know where the playground is and you can have so much fun instead of being like, shoot, I didn't know that was a boundary. Yeah.
Do you have some like successful story based upon from the readers who read this book? Like how their life changed? Like this was the life before they read the book and this was the like their life after, let's say, 1 week after they finished the book?
Oh, I am sure, the book is old in my opinion now. It's like 8 years old. So the stories used to come in a lot to me back in the day when it was first published. And I know so many different lives have been changed through just thinking differently about this. And I'll still use it with my clients oftentimes, but there's also a new depth to my work. And I do a lot more somatic work at this point in time too, bringing in like the science of the body. And so it's all important. But there's just so much possible. And I have tons of examples. And if you go to my testimonial page, you'll probably see quite a bit on there. But it's really, really amazing.
Do you plan to write down like the other books? Maybe about some other topics or like relationship agreement number 2?
Not number 2. That one's done. I am toying with an idea of a book around relearning love and really just putting it into a written form. I have a workshop on it, which I love, and that's available online. And it's called The Game of Love.
Oh, wow.
I love it. And I've been thinking very seriously about creating the story of my life because I have some really weird experiences and very unique life situations. So I'm slowly beginning to let that percolate, and I'm going to start recording probably next week. So we'll see what happens.
Is it like traumas or just like funny stories that happen?
A lot of weird, funny stories.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, very entertaining. Like people would be like, "This happened to you?" Yeah. I mean, everybody has trauma, but that is not the majority of my life. Thank goodness. I say the majority of my life has been very blessed, and I'm lucky to be alive. And
I don't know if you mentioned, but like, what are the biggest relationship challenges couples face these days?
For couples, I would say it's navigating conflict. Navigating, like, how do we fight is one of the biggest things. And I'd say fighting and intimacy, and especially keeping intimacy alive or rekindling it after you've been together long term.
Oh, yeah.
So, but navigating conflict is such a big one. I have a pre-recorded course on it. My TEDx talk is on it. I'm like, so much of the work that I do is really like, how do we be with this? Because we didn't learn how to fight. And we're all going to have these trauma responses, and it's okay to have a trauma response, but how do you not let your trauma response hurt your partner? And how do you not take it personally when they're having big emotions?
Oh, yeah.
So, learning how to be with emotions. Going back to that institute I mentioned earlier, the Gottman Institute, they were like, okay, well, we have all this amazing data about couples. How do we create the next generation of kids who grow up and then they can be in healthy relationships? And they're like, you know what? They found out if children learn how to be with their emotions, they can be in amazing, loving partnerships when they're older. most of us didn't learn how to be with our emotions. We had our emotions, they were what is the word? Invalidated. They were invalidated over and over again. Or when we had a big emotion, our parents would have their own big emotions and kind of take that away from us. Or we learned how to jump over the pain, jump over the sadness, jump over the hurt instead of being with it. And so then what happens? We grow up and we get into a situation that feels very painful or scary or sad, and we run to alcohol, scrolling, shopping,
because
drugs,
that's the
sex.
easiest way.
It's the
to,
easiest
let's say,
way.
solve these emotional problems.
Right. And it doesn't solve. It
Doesn't.
just sweeps it under the rug, and later on you have to deal with that.
I can talk about also funny stories I tried to meditate, especially talking about from men's side after the breakup. Okay, I have to get drunk. Next day I was like, did it solve the problem? No, it didn't solve the problem. I'm in the same shoes. Just like you said, nobody tells you how to overcome these emotions, especially you're like in the teenage years or let's say maximum 25 years old. When we are like about 30 years old, we have already some experiences, so we kind of learn how to handle by ourselves. But when there are people like you who can help us, like, okay, what kind of emotions you face is it connected to you, to your family, what are we going to find a solution? So next time the situation will come, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Even me, I've done like so many courses, coaches. What I learned by myself is just like, when I have like emotions, I cannot like keep them within myself. Yeah. I have to release them. Yeah. And usually it takes me 5 minutes. Like I either smack the like table or just like scream as loud as I can, and that's all. Because what I learned, like if I keep it inside, maybe later on I can have like liver problems or some like stress, you know?
Yeah. So the fact you're doing what we call emotional release techniques, and this is really powerful. I would give you an invitation to try hitting a pillow so that you're not hurting your body in any way, right? And it can still get things out. And instead of screaming out here, which can hurt your throat, just try covering your hands over your mouth. And you know that movement you make when you're trying to fog up a mirror, that make that, because it'll protect your vocal cords, but it still will get the energy out. So you're already onto it. You're so close. It's like do those things, trust your body in that, but just find ways that are not causing any harm to your body too. Yeah, that's so cool. I'm like, high five.
Or sometimes, I can admit, when I was emotional down, like especially my parents were here in Bali. It was so beautiful. I had a really great time with them. And when they left, I was like, I couldn't control the emotions. I was like, I admit it, I was smoking like as much, not that many cigarettes, but I was smoking. And it somehow connected because we saw it in our parents. We saw like in the other person, like when they're emotionally down, they used to smoke or used to get drunk. I was like, cigarette is still kind of okay. I don't smoke every day. So right now, because I was little sick, I got like a sore throat. Suddenly I don't smoke anymore. So I'm come back to myself. It took me a couple of days, and I was like, all of my life, it was all about the emotions. And I'm not the only one, because we are human beings. We react based upon the emotions. At the work, we have stress. Then you have stress because of your children. They want something like, Papa, Daddy, come help me. Then your mama is calling at the same time, boss, oh my God, this world has been changed, and it's really hard to control. So I'm glad that we have people like you who can help us. But you focus for relationship, which we can talk about everything, emotions, whatsoever, as we mentioned before. But what's so unique about the way of coaching that you do compared to the other, let's say, relationship coaches or mentors, whatsoever, if I may ask?
Yeah, I love this question. So for me, I mean, it's been several decades of learning, right? Over 2 decades now of just really wanting to learn about this. And my parents still teach marriage classes in their church. So I've had this modeled in different ways for so long. And for me, it was like when I met my husband, I thought we were the same person in different bodies. I was like, this is so easy. We have everything in common. How could we not be together? And then we decided very quickly to start a family because we both knew we wanted to be parents. Oh, wow. It was amazing. We have 2 beautiful children. And then as the children were growing, we started realizing, oh, you're not my same. You're pretty much my opposite. You're like in all the underlying deep values. I mean, we both love travel and food and parenting, right? And that's wonderful. But pretty much everything else was like, oh, no, that's not what I value. And so we're clashing. And we needed to go out and get help. Like I was already a relationship coach, but I don't even know how to get through this. There were so many challenges. So we worked with some of the world's top coaches and therapists and retreats and programs. And like the more we would learn for us, the deeper we'd be able to bring things back to our clients. He's also a coach, author, and speaker. And so like we would just really see what else is possible. And for me, like having gone through the fire and seeing like, I know what it's like to struggle with intimacy. I know what it's like to struggle with communication, especially around conflict. I know what it's like to feel so different from the person you love and want to love them, but also just be like, why don't they get me? And I have no idea what he's thinking right now, right? I just don't get it. So it's like, for me, it's not just academic. It is so much lived experience, and having really dedicated the last 10 years plus to like, we have to grow. We have to get better at this. So we've learned Tantra. We've learned, we've learned the conflict resolution. We've learned Gottman style. We've learned emotional release. We've learned internal family systems, like all these different skills. And it's not like when you work with me, it's not like you're going to just one. You're getting the best of the best, and you're getting just the gems. And I don't believe there's like we call it a moo-moo in English, or like a one-size-fits-all dress. There's no moo-moo for relationships. It's really saying, we know the skills that you need to really be functional, not just functional, to thrive in terms of communication. But we also get to play, and we have to say, what is right for you and what is right for this partnership? Knowing how to get down to honoring both values without making somebody a hero and a villain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's so powerful. And I like to have a lot of fun. So with my clients, I become their dating dominatrix. And I've designed all these dates for couples and even singles to go on. Singles, they go on dates for themselves and really learn more about who they are.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and with couples, it's like, I'm going to tell you how to go on a date. And in this date, all you have to do is follow along. Like, Carol, maybe you're the leader of the date this week, and then next week your partner's gonna be the leader. So we know that there's shared roles, and you both are going to initiate and invite your partner in, and then we're gonna have fun, and you're gonna learn a tool for how to connect. So you've expanded your awareness of what's possible. You found a fun way to do it, and you have very clear instructions. And if you don't understand, still you can message your dom. and so it's been really fun to just like show people that, even if you're a busy leader, even if you are a busy parent, you can still do this and find ways to connect that are breaking the mold and helping you find yourselves and connect more deeply quickly, which is, so good.
You mentioned busy leaders. I have follow-up questions about these guys.
Yeah, love these guys.
Usually those busy leaders, they have a leg with love. For example, one of my boss, he's like really the best leader. He's the best guy. I used to work under him. But he was so busy that maybe whenever I check his photo, he was always going by himself, traveling somewhere, And I was like, maybe there's just like, you can be a great boss, great leader, but you're missing something connected to the love, right?
Yeah.
Which you teach those leaders how to relearn the love and bring it into your life, and suddenly you will see the shift. You don't have to be effort, like even though, for example, you use ego compared to love on every day, you're going to be just like much better. Also, the other story, which is like, this was my boss, right? He was like the CEO of the company that was sold to the company that he was working for, so he became the CEO. It was like a marketplace, right? And that guy who created this company was making, in Czech crowns, like billions of Czech crowns, which is like, I don't know how many millions of dollars a year. And he suddenly realized like, oh my God, I'm going to sell the company. I'm going to do work like spiritual stuff. So imagine the shift, like from business guy, you suddenly become like spiritual, and then you put everything together. So now on, he still has some shares within this company, but he helps the other companies to grow. And he also teaches those business owners to become like, be yourself, put love, put spirituality as well. Because I also follow this line, because the business is not as it was before, like a couple of decades, right?
Right. Oh, I love this. I'm like, I want to see this guy. Like, it sounds awesome.
He's really awesome. Both of them are really good ones.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of business with heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's where really powerful transformation and leadership comes from.
Yeah. I cannot think about like the biggest company that people know, like talking about the Amazon, that is Jeff Bezos. I don't know how is he, if he ever studied like some kind of law, or for sure he probably studied about business or the other biggest names, or current president of United States, because those people, they usually just focus on numbers and business, which I understand. And yeah, if you put love together, it would be really nice one.
Yeah.
It will help.
Yeah.
It changes, like I said at the beginning. If you are fighting with your partner, wife at home, next day you go home, you'll be like this.
Yeah.
I've seen it on my parents when I was child. I see it also on myself, like, oh my God, I want these days to be done. I really want like this problem to be solved, because
Yes.
I cannot focus for
You
the
can't
work.
focus on
I
anything.
cannot give the results.
It's draining. And you
Yeah.
can fake it. I mean, you can smile. Everything's fine.
American smile, right? Like-
right? Everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. And the quality of work that you're producing reflects that.
If someone is single these days,
Yes.
how can they attract the lover of their life? Is there something they can do? Because,
There's
like,
so much.
there is a lot of meditation, visualization, or sometimes what I realize, you put like the vision board,
Yeah.
you think about it every day, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So I run a singles program, and it's like several months long. So I can't just be like, oh, there's just one thing you change,
You
right?
have to be stubborn, you have to be patient, guys.
You have to be patient, but I invite people to look at how do you become ready for love? Because oftentimes we're thinking, oh, my soulmate, or my whoever it is, my person is out there,
Yeah.
right? And we imagine them like maybe getting ready for us, but are we ready for them? And so much of being ready for love means that self-awareness and looking at what are the old patterns that you keep repeating that are keeping you in this place.
Yeah.
And being single, I celebrate. If you are choosing to be single, that's amazing. And I want you to celebrate that and enjoy it. And there are a lot of single people who wish they could be in a partnership that they loved. And in which case, there's some stuff we need to break, some old patterns that are not serving you
100%.
anymore. So when you can break those patterns and shift into new practices, this is where the magic is. You're getting yourself ready, and you're getting clear on what you're calling in. And a lot of people, I think, focus too much on, oh, I want a guy who's this tall with this kind of job and drives this kind of car, and I'm like, that's not going to get you what you want. And like you may find somebody who can meet all that criteria, but is it going to be good for you and your heart, and are you going to feel the way you want to feel? And that's what we're really looking for, is how do we find a partnership or create a partnership that is going to have a shared vision that you both are excited about, and where you both are in a dynamic where you're helping each other be medicine for each other. So many times we end up in partnerships where there's just poison. It's like you get triggered, and then you trigger me, and then we just keep spiraling, right? What we want to do is learn how to be medicine for each other.
It happened to many couples also here in Bali. What I see, like, they usually come back together, they start the relationship because of sex. Sorry to say, but that's how also some of my relationship began.
Yeah.
And then from this point, which is supposed to be the last one, but from this point, coming back to relationship and then facing those dramas, that's like a big questionnaire.
Yeah.
I've been to some relationships, like, it's been broke after a couple of weeks because there was something like, or so much dramas,
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that usually those people who are singles and still looking for some, let's say, the love of their lives,
Yeah.
there are some patterns that has to be like, let's say, overcome or like
Yeah.
solved. Do you know, or what kind of patterns are those usually?
Oh, so many. And I'm not even going to say it's for singles. I'm going to say we all have the patterns, right? It's going back to like, where did we learn love? What did we learn about it? And then how are we? And when I say trauma, I'm going to say there are two kinds of trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Capital T trauma is like really terrible things that happen to people that cause PTSD, like war and rape.
Yep.
But then there's also lowercase t trauma. And this happened to all of us before the age of 7. And our parents didn't mean harm, but it could have been something as simple as you were a baby laying in your crib, you start crying, your mom walks towards you to pick you up, and then the doorbell rings. And she, knowing the bigger context, decides, I'm going to go get the doorbell first and then come back for the baby. But you don't know that. You don't have the context. You're an infant, and you just see this woman who's supposed to be like taking care of you walk away from you in your moment of need, and your whole nervous system decides, I'm not safe. and you start creating all these ways, all these strategies to protect yourself, that is trauma. That is lowercase t trauma. And so we all have it. And we're looking out for it all the time thinking, I don't want to get hurt again. And so when we get in partnerships are going to push on our trauma.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? And so if you're single, what a beautiful opportunity to start learning what your trauma is and how to be with it in a loving way, so that when you get into partnership, you already know how to approach it. Or it's far less, and you know how to take care of yourself, which is amazing. And then when you're in partnership, if you're in partnership right now, I'm guessing you can feel it. Somebody pushes on something, the other person gets pushed on, and it's causing that trauma reaction. We call it a trauma response. And there's nothing wrong with having a trauma response, but you really got to learn how to be with it, with each other, and be that medicine. So going back to, what about singles? What about singles? It's like we have so much to learn as humans about love. And one of the first big steps we can do to find and create and continue creating the love that we want that grows over time, because I'm not the same person as I was 9 years ago when I got married, right? I'm not the same person as I was 6 months ago, all right? And so it's like I'm ever evolving, so is my partner. And if we don't consider that and we want them to stay the way they were when we met them, this causes a lot of discomfort in our systems too. So how do you find people who are willing to grow with you? And how do you continue to grow?
You mentioned it really nice. I like this idea, like when you are in a couple, like you have your husband, your wife, then it's really nice when you grow together. What if, for example, there is a man in the relationship who wants to grow and work on the relationship, but the wife doesn't want it. She likes her life. She likes, like, she has a 9-to-5 job or like working somewhere for a great company. And she goes home and she just wants to just let it be. I just want to lay down. But you are like talking about men, like the man, like, come on, let's go somewhere, let's go together, but she doesn't want to do. What a man supposed to do like this way?
Yeah, I actually see the opposite problem more
or
often.
Opposite, okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter gender at all. It's like, okay, well, if one partner wants to grow, if one partner wants to be doing the big work and the other partner is happy where they are or they are resigned, right? This is a big red flag. There are not a lot of red flags that I am like really being cautious of. But this is, if you're going to work with me, you go through a little interview process because I don't work with everyone. And one of the questions I'm looking for is, what is the dynamic right now around personal growth? Are you both wanting to show up and do this work, or is one of you feeling like you're being dragged along? Or is one of you feel like you're always forcing your partner to come and do this thing? Chances are this is not going to go well in the long run. Chances are. It can, but usually something has to change so the person gets inspired to say, I want to grow. I can see my role in this, because it really does take two to tango. I can see what I'm doing that's causing this cycle and keeping us stuck. And then I want to change for myself and for this relationship. So both of you need to make that decision for it to really go well. Now, one person can say, okay, I want to do this work and I want to influence my partner to shift. It can work. It just is very slow. And the other person still needs to feel like the inspiration, they're on board with this shifting. Otherwise, I've seen so many couples where it's like one person is driving the Ferrari with the partner tied to the back, the back bumper and being dragged, and it's like neither one is happy. Like they both want to be in the driver and passenger seat together. So how do we find that and cultivate that? So if you're single, I would say this is a great dating question of what are you doing right now to grow yourself? Who are you working with, or what are you doing? How do you continue to invest in yourself and change and get better in life? Because it's a journey. It's not a destination. And if the other person is like, oh, no, I did that work years ago, that's a red flag to me. So I'm like, my kind of person that I want to spend my life with is going to be so excited to keep growing, and they're going to want to grow with me.
I understand.
And so that's one of my questions, right? If I was dating, that would be a big one for me. If you're like, I really value comfort and stability, and I really want somebody who wants to, get a beautiful lake house and sip tea in silence together every night watching the sunset, there's no judgment there. That's beautiful, but you need to have this shared vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like what you said. Yeah. And what I understand, it's okay to be single, because these days I see many people single, and it's like I spoke to some of my friends. They are men, right? And they have a problem to find, or like me, the girlfriend is gonna stay with them and be like create a couple, maybe marriage in the next time. Like one of my friend, my best actually said, like, in my country, in my city where I live right now, 70% at least of those women, they're looking for a man who has already like millions of dollars in the account, has a Ferrari, has a house, whatsoever. I was like, I look at him. I look back like a couple of decades ago. I was like, our parents didn't have time for even thinking about this. So
Right.
they somehow found somebody. They came together. There was a baby. There was a marriage. Easy
Yeah.
as it was. That's how we are here. If those people were thinking about the same way as we think right now, like, I want somebody like this, we wouldn't be here.
No. There'd be
I was like,
far fewer people on this
guys, you're
planet.
already in your 30s, 40s. It's nice when you have a couple. Don't be afraid. You can travel with your partner, or you can travel by
Yeah.
yourself. Your partner can stay home waiting for you. He has like a 9 to 5 jobs in some office.
Yeah.
But those people, they're like, especially women, there's too many expectation, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all have a lot of expectations, and they're
We have.
different between like expectations put on women right now and expectations put on men right now. It's a lot of pressure.
It is pressure, yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. And if we're always struggling, there's this idea that of core wounds. Core wounds is this idea that there's like about 5 to 7 deep stories ingrained in our bodies globally that people carry around with them and are playing in the background of their brain all the time.
Oh, wow.
So a common story, and this is across every country, and it's the same 5 to 7. So one of these stories is, I'm not good enough. Right? And so how many people are feeling that pressure? What man, woman, doesn't matter. And it's like, I'm not good enough. And you're constantly playing that. And how does that impact your life and your relationships if a part of you really is holding on to that? That's mine. That's mine. And it's like, it doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. Those stories are so old that you just need to have compassion and be with them regularly instead of trying to push them away or pretend they're not there. Like, I walked out into the TEDx stage a month ago, right? And I'm like, this is a pinnacle moment in my life. And 30 minutes after I was off stage, something triggered me, and I went back into I'm not good enough story. Dang it. I've been doing this work, but now I know how to hold myself with compassion instead of beat myself up. And then there's people who are afraid of abandonment or who never feel considered or they think they're too much. Like, these are all our core wounds, and it's okay, but we have to know what they are. We have to know what our partners are and be able to be medicine for those core wounds instead of continuously, like, reaffirming them instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I've seen also some other stories. There's a couple I have in my mind. I forgot their names, but it's for sure man and woman. And, yeah, there were 2 coaches from Mind Valley. Yeah, I got them. She's a woman specializing for about this. He is like more like something to the chi, also like spiritual stuff. He had a life before with his ex-wife, but he wasn't happy, so he finished. She was almost getting she was engaged almost before the marriage, and she quit. They both suddenly met because of the Mind Valley, right? And they told themselves, like, we're going to grow together. We're going to heal these traumas, your traumas and my traumas together. And so far and so on, it's been a couple of years they are together.
Yeah.
As I would say, happy couple. That's how they do on the social medias.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, even though you have traumas and the other partner has also traumas, that doesn't mean like you're not ready for each other. Maybe
Yes.
God was meant to put it together so you can heal it. Because
That is my husband and I right there.
so you see?
Our traumas match so perfectly. And when we have conflict, it's always the same because it's always pushing on the exact same traumas for us. And it's not that way for everybody, but 99% of the time for us, same trauma. And it's like, I just want this to be healed by now,
Yeah.
But over 9 years, we have done so much healing and we have gotten so much better. And fights that used to be like a week long now take about 20 minutes. But at the same time, it's like, it still is a process and it's still choosing to show up and be medicine, even when it's hard.
Yeah. These days we have internet, so we can talk to ChatGPT or to talk to somebody online. But when we meet someone, that's why, like, sometimes I like to be at home, working from home all the day. But the other day I was like, I have to go to a co-working spot. I have to go for coffee places just to be around the
People.
and it's suddenly like my energy pumps up. I'm so excited. I'm so
Yeah.
happy, Like right now we are recording this beautiful interview. I'm so excited. No matter what happens, even if I die, which hopefully not, I'm so happy because that's my passion, That's my
Yeah.
mission, and I love it.
Yeah. I love how you light up talking to people. It's so fun. Like even when I met you that night, you were so like, it was a networking event, right? And
Yeah.
everybody's like, here's Carol. Yes.
I like it because there is you have like manifestors, some kind of manifestors. You have projectors. I forgot. It's like
Generators and,
Gen-
and,
G-
and manifesting generators
or
and,
something like this.
projectors. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I check it, I'm like a projector. I was like,
Cool.
okay, let's do projector. Let's study more about it. I forget like what is it all about, but it's like have to do the light on the
Yeah.
people somehow.
Yeah.
And it's really nice when you study yourself. Like, who am I? Like, who I wanna be?
Yeah.
What is my mission? And many people don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't even know. They're just like going like this,
Yeah.
and sometimes they will just pass out.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just like really said nobody tells you like who you are. If I ask like who are you, Eri Kardos, what you gonna reply right now?
I'm complicated.
You see, you're not gonna say like I'm a relationship expert.
Yeah.
I'm not like you don't put like the function. You
It's
really
not just about the job, right?
Exactly,
It's so
but
much
we
about
think-
my passions and my being a mom and a wife
Yeah.
and so much there.
we think about it's just like I'm a like interviewer, I'm a host.
Yeah.
No. It's yes, it's part of the
And.
job.
Yes,
but it's
and.
not who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny. And before we started the interview, I asked her if I may ask her this question, which is like, some people wonder about same-sex love, like man and man, woman with woman, right? And I was curious, also people are curious, like, do you think that this kind of love, it's based upon the self-love or authenticity, or it's coming from previous bad past experiences or like traumas?
I don't think it's either or. And let me be clear here. I'm queer. I love men and women and anybody in between. I am pansexual, and it doesn't matter to me the body of a human. I want the soul. And so I've done a lot of research, and I have a lot of amazing communities out there. And I would say there's, why is a person? Because of everything, like their life experiences, how they were raised, their genetics, everything. But I can tell you that for me, I have felt this way in my body my whole life. And most people I know who I have spoken with who identify as gay or lesbian or queer, whatever it may be, they've always felt that. It's not like, oh, I'm going to change something. It's like, that's who they are. And is there trauma in their background? We all have trauma. We already covered that.
Yeah.
So to say, oh, it's because of this is a cop-out answer, honestly, and it's very judgmental. So for me, it's how do you see the whole person without judgment, and how do we learn how to love? It doesn't really matter what the shape is of the form, it's the soul.
Because I also met some of the men, I think it was only men, when I had like open conversation, but it's like, when did you realize? Because I know that he was like a man loving women, and then at a certain age he realized, oh, actually, like I love men, and these days it's not a taboo topic anymore. It's open-minded talk, and when we see couples like man and man, woman and woman, just like this, But if they chose it from their heart, just let them be. We cannot do anything. You cannot force
And
somebody.
what does it matter?
And what does it? Yeah, what does
it matter if it's not influencing you? If they're not like coming into your house and destroying your property, like what does it matter? Love is love, and this world needs way more love, right? It doesn't matter what kind. We need more love. So I would just say there's so much possible, and really being with the human who's in front of you is so beautiful and so powerful. And I think if we can have really open conversations about like, who are you? And tell me what it's like to be you. That is where the cool learnings are going to come from.
I also have a saying talking about this topic, like, doesn't matter who you are. If you are a good person, then I'm okay with you.
Yeah.
Just simply like this, simple as it is. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you are like having a girlfriend or husband, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you the way you are. And if you want to cooperate, let's cooperate. But I want to see like the way you are inside.
Yeah.
Not just pretending. Because these days, sorry to say, many people pretend to be something, talking about a business or work. But actually, like, that's a great example right now. On social media, as you see somebody scrolling the phone, oh, it's a successful person. I want to meet this guy. Suddenly you become friends, and then you realize, oh wow, so this person is not actually a millionaire. He has so many loans. He has even his Ferrari under the loan. His house is under loan, but he's presenting like a rich guy. I was like, yes, I have the same these days. Somehow I found a way. I have a house and a motorbike. I'm happy for that, which I feel like rich, but I have certain income, but I don't present myself like I'm a millionaire, because in many people's mindset, you are a millionaire, that means you don't have any like mortgage whatsoever, no?
Right.
Or fake people. I was like, why the heck you do it, these people? Like, what for? Just, if you become more authentic, people will love you more and they will look for your advices.
Yes.
Like you, for example. I can see you're 100% authentic. Also, when I saw your speech, like in Kuta, it was in Kuta when we met in this networking event, it was pure you.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's been a huge piece of my journey is integrity.
Yeah.
How do I show up and keep being myself even when it's challenging? And I wanted to say one more thing around like, I think the world likes to label things as black and white. Either you are this thing or you're this thing.
Correct.
And almost everything, it's a spectrum. Like my spiritual journey, my sexual journey, my whatever. Everything's like, where am I today in this moment? Like I get to be alive and I get to change and grow and feel one way right now. And tomorrow I might feel a different way. So it's like, how do we continue to evolve and not put ourselves in a box and judge? And whenever we do feel that judgment coming up, either of someone else or we're feeling judged, how do we get curious? I feel like curiosity is really the alchemy of what is possible here. So whenever you're noticing that, oh gosh, I feel this way about somebody, or I feel like this person is judging me, it's like, how can I get curious and find out what's really underneath that?
Are there some techniques or practices to, for example, love yourself more?
Oh, of course, there's so many. You can ask your chat GPT about that.
I didn't expect this answer, but yeah, makes sense, yeah.
No, but I mean, it's got some great tools. And again, it's here's the thing. There are so many amazing self-love tools out there. And also I want to keep bringing people back to this idea of part of being in the self-love is to be really gentle with yourself and to move away from just being in our minds. And I'm somebody who was thriving in the very cognitive space, right? I went to a top business school, and I didn't say this earlier, but I had joined the Air Force ROTC on a dare. So I was in a very like masculine, very heady space. We're making big decisions. And I've worked at Amazon.com. Corporate America is very like heady, right? So for me, it's like I've learned how to thrive up here. And so much of the time we cut ourselves off from our hearts and our bodies then. And we forget about that. So when it comes to self-love, it's like I would invite you to just begin to drop out of this space. And it's no longer a checkbox. Like if you need the checkbox to inspire yourself to be with yourself, great. Use that as inspiration. But how can you just lay down, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly, and just breathe and say, I'm going to try to stay with my feelings and notice what's present right now.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of hop on Facebook and scroll or Instagram or whatever it is that your thing is, right? Or instead of making a phone call right now or trying to get your taxes done, it's like, see what it's like to give yourself 30 seconds. Most people, 30 seconds is almost torture. Like they can't keep their brain focused on how do I feel in my body if I'm just breathing and noticing what's happening. So if we get away from this doing culture and you just come into being, you're going to learn so much about yourself, and you're going to learn so much about how to love you in a way that's meaningful for you.
It's also a big challenge for women these days, working for corporate companies or working as managers or leaders or even CEOs. There is push for themselves, like if there is, for example, women with CEO, the owner will push her like to become like a man. You have to handle everything. You have to know. You have to go there. You have to follow you have to give us results and so on.
Yeah.
But I don't know if women have ever been like, let's say, created for this one, because it's coming from manpower, if I'm not wrong, right?
I think we all have masculine and feminine within us.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
And some people have more masculine side, some people have more feminine side. And I think it's really important to look at what is the right balance for each person and honor that. And I know some amazing female leaders who are also taking the wisdom of being a woman and incorporating into business that freaks guys out. Like in my own company, I run an entire team, and guess what? My entire team knows my cycle. Because I know that women, especially, at least myself, but most women, are extra creative and can shine when it's around ovulation. And that we need to rest and chill when it's around menstruation.
Yeah.
So as a CEO of a company, I make sure that my team knows when I'm going to be not easy to access. I let them know when we're creating content. I let them know when I'm available for podcasts. I bet you can guess where I'm at in my cycle just because I'm sitting here. So this is so important, but this is not something that most leaders think about, or at least not most men leaders. You'd get so much more out of the creativity and the ability to lead super well if you tuned in more to your female team members and supported them in their way of being excellent leaders. It doesn't mean that you can't lead your way. Men cycle in a day.
Yeah.
So great, let's honor the man's cycle in a day, and let's honor the woman's cycle in a month. And you're going to get so much more out of your teams.
Yeah, I heard about this cycle. Somebody also made it in Czech Republic. Literally, see the women's cycle talking about a menstruation, and some of the companies have like used these cycles within the company.
Yeah.
Like, if, for example, you are a social media manager working for this company, and you are in the first cycle where it's the big pain, they let you stay at home.
Yeah.
If you can work home, just you don't have to do anything unless somebody calls you, and then come back and it's normal. Because I cannot imagine how strong it has to be with everything when there's like the first time of the cycle,
Yeah.
Because I'm a man, but
Yeah.
I see like from the women that I met or previous girlfriends, whatever, when they are in this position, I say like, okay, I just let you be. I understand. I'm here for it, but I let you be. I understand. You know?
Yeah, and it doesn't make you any less of a leader. We're just learning how to support you in your leadership, and it's all important. Masculine and feminine, doesn't matter the body type, but like, how are you having both sides supported, and what is your body needing right now?
Yeah, masculine and women power. That's the biggest topic these days.
Yeah.
I've seen it like men losing their man power these days. Like before, if you check the picture, if we ask AI right now, give me the picture of a typical man like in 19th century, 20th century, or 1990 compared to 2025, you will see different. They will be like Gen Z generation, just like with phone like this, having a sexy haircut or whatever. That's all. But he doesn't know how to, for example, drill the hole. Before the man. Before, like, generations ago, they used to have, like, how you become a man. There has to be, like, a ceremony for a man to become a man.
The initiation.
Yeah, we don't have it as a man these days. So
there are certain places you can go, but most cultures don't have it anymore.
Like, my culture doesn't have it. Unless I look for somebody who was, like, a, let's say, man coach. For women, what I study, just, like, easy, when woman got pregnant and then the baby's coming, that
is a huge rite of passage.
Yes.
Yes, but not all women want to have babies. So
that's also the other challenge,
Yeah, there's a lot there.
And it affects everything. So I was like, okay, these days is like what I see. It's too much is happening. Too much is going on. But we can always find some kind of solution if we want it,
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really funny. I see you having like a lot of goals that already has been like finished in your lives. You already accomplished those goals. Do you have any other goals for your future?
This is a great question. And, I've been contemplating this a little bit this past week with a birthday, and I'm like, what is my next goal? And I think for me, it's really creating legacy, and how can I pass this on to both my children, but also future generations, the things that I've learned. So I think that's going to be the big next chapter of how do we get this out to the world instead of just having it be this it's been an amazing impact, but I don't want it to be hundreds. I want it to be hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Right.
And my last question, what message would you give to people all over the world listening to this podcast?
That it's okay to relearn love. It's okay to really tune in to yourself and understand that what you've had modeled is not perfect, and that's okay. And that when you can really find the space to be yourself, to feel free and to feel safe, to be you and be loved and love your partner, that the whole world can shift in how you show up as a leader, as a parent, as a community member. And I want this for you and I want this for the world. So when you're ready, I invite you to relearn love.
Wow, beautifully said. I really like what you said. Thank you so much, Eri.
Thank you, Carol.
This was Eri Kardos. I hope you liked our interview. We're planning to do as many podcast episodes as possible. So if you like Inspiroqa podcast, our mission, feel free to subscribe and spread this information all over the world, because what I understand was the best. You have a mission in this world. Everybody has a purpose. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Eri, again. See you guys.
Bye.